Hi guys, my name is Rachel Julian. I'm a licensed realtor for Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage. And I am here today with Ronnie Piper, the CEO and owner and operator of Simply Chic Landscaping. And he is here today to tell you how to increase your curb appeal for $200 or less. And that can apply to you if you are looking to sell your home, because curb appeal is very important, but also if you've just bought a home, because the last thing you think about when you're buying the home and moving in is, what do I do to increase my curb appeal once I'm in the house? And so actually we're here today with the home of a client. They just bought this house a few weeks ago and they moved their stuff in, and then they looked at their lawn and said, uh-oh, I have really bad curb appeal. So Ronnie is actually going to teach all of us what we can do, again, for $200 or less to increase that curb appeal. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Ronnie, and just go ahead and get us started.
Thank you, Rachel. This is typically in the area with Cumming and Alpharetta and the areas we're in, the way it's growing. This is going to be kind of a typical lawn situation. And I know the stress of moving. You've just moved, you've just closed, or you're trying to sell your house, and the lawn is the number one thing that gets neglected during that process. If you're selling, you've got too much going on, and if you're moving in, it's the last thing that you're thinking about. So now what we've come to is we're walking over, and now we've come to, this is Bermuda turf. 99% of what you're going to see in the area is Bermuda turf. But as you're going to notice, the homeowner has just moved in, and they've done their first mow on the property. You can tell the lawn's been mowed. And now they've kind of settled in the house, and they're kind of thinking, what can we do, so that we're not getting funny looks from our neighbors, and to increase the curb appeal. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to notice with this turf, it's not very green and plush as we would like to see it. And typically what happens during the closing process is the sprinkler systems don't come on, people aren't watering their lawn. So the number one thing you want to do immediately when you start moving in is get your lawn on the proper watering schedule. So now, what the best growing practice for setting and how to water your lawn is you want to water not 3, 4, 5 times a week. You want to water 1 day a week before 6 a.m. in the mornings. That's 1 day a week, 6 a.m. in the mornings. The process behind proper watering is you want a deep, thorough soaking once a week rather than a bunch of little soakings multiple times a week. So we want to put 1 inch of water on your lawn 1 day a week. And the best way to do that, if you're uncertain about that, is what I always tell my customers is you get a Tupperware bowl, mark a 1 inch mark on the inside of the bowl, and set it in your watering area and time how long it takes to fill up the 1 inch.
What a great idea.
Once you know that number, then you water your lawn for 45 minutes to an hour once a week, and then you're going to start getting better results out of your lawn immediately.
It's fabulous. Thank you. That's a great idea.
So as you come up, now we've talked about the lawn, and we want to get the lawn a little better. Now right in front of your house, you're going to have what we call flower beds, mulch areas, planting areas. Now as you're going to notice, as you come up, we haven't had mulch installed in this area in quite some time, but it's time to do that. Here's the first things we're going to do to get this place spruced up for $200 or less. We're going to come in and we're going to trim these bushes. We're just going to shape them up, make sure that they're not touching the house, make sure that they've got a good shape to them, make sure that they're relatively healthy, no disease, no major problems. Now you'll notice the previous homeowner, as you come in, we've had some dead plants that were here, and we'll come in and we would recommend pulling those. These are past the point of rescue, so we want to dispose of these, and we want to get rid of them. So we'll pull those out. All right, so now again, we've trimmed the bushes, and we're going to come in and show an after photo of everything. Once we get them trimmed, we're going to trim the bushes, and then after you trim the bushes, we're going to put down a mulch ground covering, okay?
Now what color would you recommend? When we get to, there's so many options. How do we pick?
There are so many options. Well, with colors, there's primarily 4 options. You can choose from a red, a brown, a black, or a natural cypress. But it's very important, some HOAs restrict or limit the colors that you can install in your neighborhood. So if you're in a neighborhood, be sure you check with your HOA before you finalize your color. Some HOAs don't permit red mulch, for example. They want a more natural look in the neighborhood, and that's where the brown and the blacks come in. So what we will do is we're going to come in and we're going to bring about 20 bags of mulch in on the property after we've trimmed the bushes. You want to put your ground covering down last so that you don't have to be so meticulous in getting up all the bush trimmings. We're going to come in with a 2 to 3 layer installation of mulch, so you don't have to be concerned with getting all your trimmings up. You'll be able to cover them with mulch. But you don't want to trim your bushes after you install your mulch, because it just kind of, you're spending some money here and you don't want it to have an unclean appearance when you get done. Trim your bushes first and then put your mulch or your pine straw down second.
Now, if you're doing it yourself and you need to know how many bags to buy, how would you determine how many bags?
Well, good question. And ultimately what we want to do, we'll focus on 2 things. If you're going to go pine straw's cheaper than mulch. And 1 bale of pine straw is going to cover 40 square feet of area. So what we do when we come out is I'll step off just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 15 feet across, and then we've got 6 feet deep. So we've got an area of 90 square feet. We know we're going to need 3 bales of pine straw to do this one area. So if you calculate your square footage, divide it by 40, that'll tell you how many bales of pine straw you need. Now, if you go with mulch, 1 bag of mulch from your local hardware store, or we can deliver the mulch to you, you can install it, or we can bring the mulch and install it for you. Either way you choose to go. But 1 bag of mulch is going to cover 2 cubic feet of area. So once you know your square footage size of your area, you can divide the 2 cubic feet. It'll tell me how many bags of mulch you need for your island.
Okay, great. So once we've gotten the mulch laid out, it's real blah. There's no color. So
Correct.
if we want to add a pop of color and we don't want it to be our door, how can we add our color if we're not great at gardening?
Well, there's several things we can do. As you notice, we pulled up a couple dead plants and we've got some empty voids here. All right, so we can come in any of your local hardware stores. You can go pick up what's called spring or summer annuals. These are flowers that only bloom 1 time a year, but they're really cheap. You can go to the store and get a flat of annuals for $20 or less. And then you can come in and it's real easy. You just dig a little hole and then stick your flowers down in there. And you want to do that after your mulch install as well. So we can get some annuals and bring them in here. Another thing I like to see here are flower boxes or vases or buckets, barrels that you can move around. So you can get a barrel and set a nice flower arrangement by your door to give you some color. But this whole area can be filled in with spring or summer annuals for less than $20.
And the buckets and barrels are nice because if you're selling your house and you spend that money getting it beautiful,
Right.
That's personal property. So you can take that property with you and you can put it in front of your new house.
That's
and bring the beauty with you.
the idea. So if you're selling, I would use a transportable flower, a box, a barrel, and that way you can take it with you and use it at your new place.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Can you just take maybe next 10 or 15 seconds and tell them a little bit more about your company, and in case they want to contact you, how they can do it?
Guys, we offer a full range of service. We're a full service company. I'm family owned and operated. We do all the work ourselves. My son and I do all the mowing. We care about what we do. If you'd like, a free estimate, or if you have some questions on how to get your lawn going in the right direction, we have a fertilization program. But you can contact us at www.simplychiclandscaping.com, and we'll be glad to help you any way we can to get your lawn to the level that you want.
And if you forget that information, you can contact me directly at 678-718-7289, and I can pass your information on to Ronnie, or Ronnie's information on to you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.